Okay, so this is the research station staff this year. Myself, Kim Jo Bliss, and Katie Hay, who's going to the University of Minnesota. She's in animal science. She has plans to become a vet. We're having a great summer, though it's just the two of us, but we've got along well, so life is great. Okay, so you're looking at 3 different squash varieties and a pumpkin variety and a couple plants that are sweet corn. A fellow producer in the district actually asked us if we would put in some of these seeds that he had collected. Early in March, he just felt that things were, in an uproar because of COVID, and he thought that maybe we could plant a few things that we could actually share with the community. So this is not a research trial, and all that's been done is my student Katie has put them in the ground. We haven't watered. I think she tilled in here twice, and we've pulled a few weeds. So we planted in there more or less on their own. They're maybe a bit close together, but that's really good for weed control. As you see, you can't see a lot of bare ground. There's still some flowers in there. So we'll see what we have for the community this fall. Hopefully we have something to share. 3 varieties of field peas. And you can probably see some some flax mixed in there. That wasn't the plan, but this was a plot that didn't get harvested last fall. And of course, the chemical that I used on the peas didn't kill the flax. So they're still staying upright, and they're looking okay. Other than in between the plots, you can see the flax. But this is from the Manitoba seed that is sent us, and so we have this little pea. But we are starting to see. Well, I guess we've always seen, but there's been a lot more people putting peas in their silage mixture. So it'll be interesting to see if there's anything different between these three varieties. There's peas on all of them now. So here, if you see the fluorescent green plant in this plot, that's actually Gallega. We have had 0 luck trying to get it established here, but I thought this was a good shot of seeing what we got with a side-by-side of alfalfa. These were all cut once, but as you can see, we are not having good luck. I think other places maybe are having better luck, but we're not having good luck with getting Gallega established. This is alfalfa that looks a little more impressive. Looking at the Forage seed mixture trial, what happened here was I find that I get a lot of questions about seed mixtures and how many and what they should put in their mixture. So I was looking on the computer, and I saw the Beef Research Council had done some work on seed mixtures. So I just have more or less copied this trial, and this is its 2nd production year. We had some really impressive yields with it last year. Not a big difference at this point between the plots. We may see a difference as maybe the alfalfa dies out or changes, but we had a pretty decent first cut. We probably cut it a little later than it should have been cut, but again, if you are able to see the differences in the plot, it's quite a neat little trial, and hopefully once COVID's over, you can come back in and take a check at this trial. This is just a little oat demonstration project. A lot of our plots we weren't able to harvest last fall, and in some places we weren't even able to do any fall field work. This was one of those spots. So what we did was we just took our Almaco research drill and actually just kind of no-tilled it into the plot to see what would happen, like if that was something that we could use if we needed to in the future. You can see some chunks that are cut out of it, and that was just some heavy quack grass, and there's still a few thistles in there. But actually it worked quite well. Now I don't think we should plan on planting our variety trials this way, but it was just sort of a little demonstration to see what we could do with our drill. So here we're looking at some biomass trial that it was planted a few years ago now. There's miscanthus, switchgrass, big blue stem, reed canary grass, prairie cord. I think I've touched on everything. Of course, you can see that we've got some weeds in there as well. I normally try to hit this with Roundup early in the spring, but that didn't happen. It was a lot of work to get this grass established, so we are keeping it here. It hasn't been managed that well the last few years, again, because we're not collecting data. I just still have it. It's still a good demonstration if you wanted to see the difference between some of these grasses. I'll just have to work harder at getting it cleaned up again. We're just looking at a block of red clover here. The main reason I'm using red clover is just as a green manure plow down. Same thing, we have to work hard at our rotations here, keeping, so that we're getting proper rotations, and anywhere we've had a fertility trial, we need to sort of stay out of research for 3 or 4 years. This was planted actually last year, and we did take a first cutting of it, and now the plan is to plow this down as green manure. You'll see a few spots of red clover here at the research station this year for that same reason. Also, because we've got some tile problems, there's just areas that I can't put a trial, so I thought having a legume in there is probably better than just having black ground trying to keep the weeds down, or some oats or barley that are drowned out. So we actually had some pretty good yields on this, and again, I'm hoping that we can plow it down, and I'm hoping that this range will be able to be used for some trials next year. It has had some tile repairs, so I'm hoping that it's good to go again. So we're just looking at a stand of alfalfa that is also just a demonstration. The research station's been able to grow some pretty good alfalfa and had pretty decent yields. Yes, because we're tiled, and also because we tend to manage it fairly well. We don't cut it during the critical cutting date, and as well, we probably generally will only take 2 cuts. An odd time we've taken 3 cuts just because there was so much material there. We thought that it was silly not to. But this is just a demonstration, and and it is kind of neat to see how long an alfalfa stand will last, in the district if it is managed properly. All right, so here we are looking at our hops yard. We have 4 rows of hops, 2 varieties, 2 rows of Centennial, 2 rows of Cascade. Don't feel that the hops are as bushy as they were last year. Why that is, probably a number of things: a cooler spring, perhaps moisture, also a lot of wind, and generally speaking, these bines, once they get latched onto this rope here, they usually stay attached quite well, but there are plants that have fallen down, and once they're up so high, there's obviously very little we can do about that. They are starting to set seed. They're burring out, which is where you will find the hop. Last year we were pretty excited because Lake of the Woods actually were able to use some of our hops and actually make a Rainy River wet hop brew, and so it was actually sold even in one of the local facilities in Fort Frances. So we're hoping that there's 2 other yards that have been established since last year, and there also has been some applications put in for some equipment that will aid in harvest. So we're hoping that those applicants are successful and they're willing to harvest our hops. It's almost impossible, even as small as our yard is, to get these all harvested in time to still be good. They dry out quickly. And also the normal process is they harvest the hops, dry them down, and they're turned into a pellet. Last year that didn't happen. They did a wet brew, which is kind of like a specialty brew. And hopefully that'll happen this year, but I also hope that we have equipment for the future. Again, we're still struggling a bit with water. I think we've learned a little more again. I guess we learn every year, which is why it's a research station. But yeah, they still are pretty cool. We just haven't had the traffic, in to visit our hops this year, simply because of having a visitor restriction. Okay, so here we're just doing a highway drive of what you see from the highway. We are on Highway 11, just west of Emo. And so a lot of times, especially this year, our research station gets judged by what people see driving by. We have everything marked. Normally this week would be our open house, so all the signs are up. So we have had some producers just drive through, and they can still read the signs. The varieties are all marked. And then if they have questions, you can reach out to me. So we've tried to keep things as normal as we could this year, other than we're not having you guys visit us this week for our open house. The black area that you're seeing right now, we kind of reserved that for a larger, we're hoping, we had a large winter wheat trial planned for last year, and because we had that 30 inches of rain, we were unable to plant it. So we've kind of kept that black and sprayed the weeds out of it in hopes that it'll come early and we'll be able to still get that in the ground this year. These are the Malting barley trials that I videoed earlier. You can see the difference in the fertility rates. But yeah, this is what you see if you're driving past Emo. You'll see our research station right along the highway, and you're welcome to come. Hopefully next year we're hoping to have visitors again, and we'll see you at our open house.